All right, in the trenches reporting live up here at Friendship Academy. What's good, Coach?
Everything's good, man. Exciting game this week. Looking forward to the Crimson Tide coming over to the beach.
Let's talk about it, Coach. Man, you're the head coach here at Friendship Collegiate Academy. How many years has it been since you've taken over the program here, Coach?
Took over in 2014, so this is the 9th season. 8 years because we missed the 1 year for COVID.
Now, Coach, under your reign, how many state titles have you produced under your watch, Coach?
We have three state titles, DCSAA titles.
And 4 altogether?
Yep, 4 altogether.
Now, how did you get involved with the program, Coach?
I was actually a longtime friend of the previous head coach, Azar Rahim, and we had been talking when he started the program about coming over to help, and I got let go from my previous job at Howard University. And we talked again, and he was like, come on over, help build this program. And, it was supposed to be a short-term thing, but, 16 years later, I'm still here. So I love the program.
Now, when that opportunity came about, like you said, after losing your previous job, was it something you was like, this is something to pass the time by until I find something that I really want? But then once you came upon here at Friendship Collegiate Academy, it was something that you truly enjoyed and became a part of.
Well, the thing that got me most excited about here is when I talked to, Coach Rahim, talked to some of the other guys that were on staff, everything was about sending the kids to college. They didn't talk about winning games, they didn't talk about winning championships or anything like that. It was, we got to do something for our city to get these kids to college. And that was the thing that attracted me the most. And then when I got here, I realized it wasn't just talk, and it wasn't just football. It was the way that everything operated here, from academics to the counselors to everybody was all about getting the kids to college. And that's probably what keeps me here the most.
Coach, being a mentor of young men, talk about that, how important that is, being from the city that we are in, Washington, D.C., where it's a lot of violence that can happen in our city, man. What's some of the things that Friendship Collegiate Academy is doing to combat that? Because I know you've had some programs where you bring in people to talk about domestic violence, things of that nature. Are you still those programs still a part of Friendship Academy to this day?
Yes, we're still doing all of those programs. Becky's Fund is the one you're speaking about, where they come in, they do domestic and relationship training. Just talking about the do's and don'ts when you're dealing with people, whether it be a significant other, maybe a work relationship, things you should and should not do. And hopefully, if we can get our young people to understand that in their teen years, as they progress into their professional lives and adult lives, they'll understand what it means to be a good partner.
Being the head coach here at Friendship Collegiate Academy for the last 9 years, Coach, correct?
Yes.
What's some of the, I would say one of the most difficult things you had to deal with being a coach in that process of trying to keep your kids and everything off the streets?
Just getting them to trust you. That's the main thing when it comes to dealing with young people. You have to get them to trust you. So many times in this city, and I'm sure across the country, people always promise things to kids and then don't deliver. So we always have to stand on our word, whether it be football, off the field, in the classroom, whatever. If you say you're going to do something, you have to do your best to do it. And if you fall short, you got to be honest with the kid and say, look, I messed up, I made a mistake, I didn't get it done, as opposed to making an excuse or putting it on someone else. But once you gain that trust, I think everything else falls into place.
Coach, when it comes to putting your program together, what type of kids are you looking for to be a part of Friendship Collegiate Academy?
I'm looking for kids that are motivated to improve themselves. It doesn't have to always be the biggest, fastest, strongest kid, but it's the kid who wants to do better and give him or herself a chance to play in college.
What is it like, Coach, out there try to go through the recruiting process, and you have the Catholic high schools out there, such as DeMatha, Carroll, and you're competing, trying to get that talent. Are there certain things that you're looking for in a kid that necessarily, like, not always run into the top talent area, but like, I see something in this kid that I think I can mold, and I think he'll be a perfect fit here?
Right. Every program is not for everyone. There's some kids who will thrive here and they may struggle at other programs. There's kids who have struggled here and moved on to other programs and done great things. But out on the recruiting trail, we're out trying to find the biggest and best middle school kids, just like everyone else. We don't always get them, but the kids we get that want to be here at Friendship, we're gonna make sure we do our best to put them in a good position.
Now, Coach, where did the nickname Beach Boys? How did that all originate?
So the field you see out there now, we didn't always have that. So we used to practice on basically a dirt patch. It had a little pieces of grass in there, but most of it was sand, dirt, and rocks. And a reporter came out one time a few years ago to do a story, and her shoes got all messed up, and she said, "This is like walking on a beach in my heels." And that's where the name kind of came out, the Beach Boys, and it kind of stuck with it, and it's become a mentality, not so much a place anymore.
All right, Coach. Let's talk about the season this year. Currently 1-1. First game of the season, McNamara, you won that. Then you went on the road down to Richmond. Lost a tough one there. What was that? 17-0 there. Talk about that last game and some of the things that you noticed in that game, Coach.
Benedictine's a tough team. We played them last year here. We actually won within the last minute of the game. And they're tough. They have some top talent, great coaches. We went down there and we didn't play our best football. And it cost us to lose the game. I didn't do a good job coaching. So we had to go back, look at the film, look at what we do. And, after every game, win or lose, I always ask all my players, my coaches, and demanded of myself that I look in the mirror first, and is there something that I can do better as an individual to help the program? So, everybody went back, looked themselves in the mirror, came back to work on Monday, ready to go.
On those type of trips, Coach, when you're going out of town, how important is camaraderie and team bonding during that time when you go out of town for trips like that?
I think it's important. I think, when guys like each other and they have fun with each other, it's a lot easier in the fourth quarter when everyone's tired to give everything you have for the band next to you, because once we get back on this bus, we back at being brothers, and you're gonna fight for your brother when things get tough.
What was the atmosphere like in Richmond? Because I always like to find out what the atmosphere like in different areas compared to the area here. Because I had a chance to talk with Chris Harden, the coach up at Roosevelt, when they went up to Ohio, and he talked about that experience up there under the lights in Ohio, where it's unbelievable.
So Benedictine is a small military school, so they don't have a big student body, but the students that came out, they were loud, they were, cheering their team on. They was giving us a little bit of the business. So the atmosphere was good, and we look for those big games like that, and that's why we schedule the teams we schedule, because we want to play in hostile environments and we want to play against the best teams.
Coach, who are some of the key people you would say to keep your eye on this year coming from Friendship Collegiate Academy?
We have a loaded, talented team. One of the most notable guys is Dylan Stewart. He's getting recruited by a lot of people across the country. DeAndre Cook is another D lineman, O lineman. The quarterbacks, we have two quarterbacks that play, Jalen Krosky and Nick Washington. DB, Karan Abdul-Rahim, Steve Frazier, D-line, Jazz House. We got quite a few guys, and I know I missed someone, and it's blame it on my age, not my heart.
Coach, let me ask you, man, how important is it for the alumni to come back and reach out and talk to the kids that are currently a part of the program, to let them know that you got family that was a part of this program also as well, and don't let us down, and we got your back as well?
Right. I think it's very important. We have several alumni on our staff that are coaching with us. They come back, watch practice. They come back through the summer. Anytime an alumni come back, we kind of stop what we're doing, give them a few minutes to talk to the guys about their experience here as well as their experience after. Because sometimes, coaches, we talk, and it kind of becomes like the Charlie Brown teacher where they don't hear us. But if they can listen and maybe interact with someone who's actually been in their shoes in this program and has gone on to do great things, whether it be through football or just in life in general, I think that's important.
Coach, I wanted to go back, man, just to get the team's mentality of what it was like during the COVID time. And how tough was it for your athletes not being able to be around each other? I'm quite sure at first he was like, "Oh, we out of school, all good," but then as time went on, I know it had to get tough.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough for everyone.
We're back,
Uh,
and we're talking about being the outlet.
So yeah, football is an outlet for a lot of guys, and during that time in COVID, we really couldn't, meet. We couldn't lift. We couldn't run. We couldn't do anything that we normally do. As a team, we try to do a lot of Zoom meetings, but after a while, they're on Zoom all day in school, and then we would meet with them afterwards. And I just thought it was a lot to be on Zoom, so we kind of cut those Zoom meetings down a little bit. But we did do like check-ins. Every coach was assigned to, a few players to check in with. I tried to check in with as many as I could as a head coach. But it was great when we were able to come back together and be a family again.
Coach, during that process of checking in on players and stuff, did that actually help create something new for you? Like, hey, this is something we can do on a regular basis. Just really checking in, making sure our guys are good, and just making sure to see where their heads are at this time.
Yeah, it definitely kind of opened my eyes up to doing things a little different. I talked to some of my coaching colleagues from around the area of some things they were doing. We shared different tips and advice with each other. So it's something that, we try to do and I know I try to do a lot now. So if a kid is going through something, or I think they're going through something, maybe they're late to school, late to practice, the first thing before I jump on them, like, hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay? And then, once everything's okay, then we deal with whatever the issue is at hand. But sometimes they need to hear that someone actually cares about them and wants to know what's going on in their area.
Coach Mike, are you a product also of DC also as well?
Yes.
DC.
No, I went to DC elementary and middle school, and then I went to Gonzaga for high school.
Now, with that being said, Coach, what's your thoughts on what you see with the changing of the city today as compared to before? We were known as Chocolate City. It's no longer that. Things are changing in the city. So do you see that also changing with the dynamics of the program in a few years? Well, what I mean by that is we go more and more in time, the city and the look of the city will change, and also the look of the kids will change also as well, unless they go to the private schools.
Right. So the city has changed. I'm born and raised here, native Washingtonian. The city has definitely changed. Some for the good, some, my friends, myself, some people we're getting pushed out of the city. But I think some of the change is good, and I think we all have to adapt to it. It's not going away. So we just have to find a way to adapt and hold on to Chocolate City as much as we can. And again, just like with the Beach Boys, the field we used to practice on is not here anymore, but that doesn't mean that the mentality has to disappear. We still can be proud of who we are. I'm a proud Washingtonian, and I'll never let anyone take that away from me or let me forget who I am. So we just got to hold on to what we believe in and, fight for what we believe in.
Yeah, that's a great point there, Coach. I got to ask, man, how excited are you, man? Back home this Friday night, 7 p.m. under the lights, going against the Dunbar Crimson Tide.
It's going to be an exciting, electric atmosphere. I got a lot of respect for Coach Vaughn. I know he does a great job with his program. We actually talk often, and I'm excited. Our first home game, the kids are excited, the school's excited, the city's excited. So it's going to be good. And again, that's why we schedule these games, so that these kids, 20 years from now, can go back and talk about September 9th, 2022.
That's a great point what you just said there, Coach, about the coach bonding. Do you see that a lot here in our area, or not really?
You have a few guys that really, bond together and try to create a coaching fraternity. At the end of the day, the logo is the logo. Whether I have on the F or, next year I may be somewhere else. Friendship may be tired of me being here and I got on a different logo. But that doesn't mean the bonds that I've created here with these guys are going to be any different. We all here for the kids at the end of the day. We're just using the game of football as the carrot to get them, in our room.
Well, Coach, what's your thoughts on football in our area on the whole, as far as on the high school level? and also what you see on the middle school level coming into high school as far as their skill sets?
I think we have a very, very talented area. There's a lot of kids who are successful when they go on to the next level. There's a lot of kids who maybe fall short. So I think as the adults and the mentors, that's something we have to do a better job of making sure we prepare our kids for the adversity that they're going to face when they leave our programs. The programs that do it the best, most of their kids are successful. And some other programs, they got to do better at that. And I think we all should share, advice with each other and things that we do successful in our program, and maybe some things that didn't work out for our program, so the next person don't do the same things. And I think once we start doing that, our city will do better as a whole.
Coach, when you got into the aspects of coaching, who were some of the people that you look to as far as mentorship and advice when things get tough sometimes?
So I was fortunate that my first coaching job was at Catholic University, where I played. So my head coach, he gave me an opportunity. So he was somebody I really looked up to, and he really took me under his wing and mentored me on the game of football. And I knew it was coming from a genuine place because he cared about me as a person more than me as a coach. And then, my offensive coordinator from college, he left to actually become a head coach, but that's someone that I also looked to. I had the fortune to do some work with Coach McGregor, off on the side. I didn't coach at the Mather, but just dealing with him in the football aspect. So he's someone that's been around for a long time. Joe Rader, who's the athletic director at Gonzaga, he was one of my coaches in high school. So those are guys that I always look to. And then just from being in the profession, you meet a lot of different people, from Mike Loxley to James Franklin, and you kind of pick their brains for a lot of stuff, and they're good guys who want to see you be successful.
Coach, how does it feel when your young athletes come to you to pick your brain about different things when they go on and leave here and go off to college or do other things in life?
It feels like I'm doing my mission because, again, this is bigger than football. So when one of the alumni call me or come back and, solicit advice, whether it be football or, something about life, maybe raising kids or, whatever it is they're going through, that means that we've really built that relationship that we're trying to build here with all of our young people. And so that means a lot to me.
Coach, I truly, truly appreciate your time today. And good luck on Friday night going against my school double, man. I'm looking forward to being out there. But I've been hearing a lot of great things. That's why I wanted to come over here today, Coach, because like you said, you're a mentor of men. It's more than about football. It's about mentoring these young men to be great young men in their community and life in general. So I truly appreciate what you do. There you have it. Today we have Coach Mike Hunter, the head coach here at Friendship Collegiate Academy. In the trenches, we out.